But first, when it comes to self-made entrepreneurs, few in Australia rival Simon Reynolds. Simon is the director and major shareholder of the Photon Group, a publicly listed company that owns over a dozen advertising and media companies. Simon is also Australia's most awarded creative director, having won many advertising and media awards, including the highest accolade in the world, the Cannes Grand Prix. Now, although Simon is well regarded for his media expertise, he has evolved himself into an entrepreneur, which is where his real wealth has been created. He started out at age 17 earning less than $10,000 a year. By 21, he became Australia's youngest creative director on a salary of over $100,000. At age 23, he started his own advertising company called Omon, followed by a string of successful businesses. Let's hear what Simon had to say about wealth and success at a recent WealthNet talk.
So I think the first truth about success is that money doesn't make you happy. And that's kind of like a cliche. We've always heard that money doesn't make you happy, and you kind of think to yourself, yeah, well, I'll find out for myself, thanks very much. And, you know, and I thought the same thing. And the truth is that it doesn't. And there's a lot of different theories on happiness. I know George Burns once said that, he said happiness is having a warm, close-knit, loving family in another city. And there's a lot to that too. But recently, over the course of the last century of psychological research, the vast majority of research has been done into depression. In fact, there are 14 papers for depression for every one on happiness. But in recent years, that's a fact, in recent years, there's been a lot more research on happiness, and there's been some breakthroughs. So what I thought I'd do is tell you one of the primary things that does actually make you happy from pure research point of view, and it's called the concept of flow. And flow was identified by a psychiatrist by the name of Dr. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, which is a pretty cool name. I'm sure he wasn't happy when he was given it, but he recovered. What it is he said that the amount of happiness that you have in your life is a result of the amount of flow activities that you have in your life. So what is a flow activity? Well, what it is it's when you're clear about the goal, but it's really taking your concentration. It's kind of like the midpoint between being stressed and being relaxed. So you're making progress. You're on top of things, but it's really demanding your effort. So you can't relax, but yet you're still making progress. And you're very clear about the direction you've got to go in. And that's a very, very interesting concept, because isn't it true that when you've had a great day, it tends to be not when you haven't had anything to do, but when you've been really challenged, but you're on top of it, you've done it, you've got progress, you've really seen you go forward. And he said that there's like 10 countries research on this. The amount of flow activities that you can create in your life will be the amount of enjoyment you experience. Now, what's interesting is that's applicable for your personal life as well. If you just sit at home and watch television, as the average person does for just under 4 hours a day, the most common emotion while watching television, believe it or not, is mild depression, according to the research. And why? Because you're not being challenged. There are two areas that I like to study when it comes to results. The first is athletics, because we know who's done the work based on who's at the end first across the line, and the second is stock trading. And I don't trade stocks really, but I like to study. There are books like Market Wizards 1 and 2. I don't know if anyone's read that. Brilliant books, and they're basically interviews with the world's best traders. And I don't trade, so you say, well, what are you wasting your time doing that for? Because I like to look at the psychology of people who've been really successful, because it's very easy to see their results, because they're traders, their funds have done this or whatever. And one of these traders in Market Wizards said, and he wanted to remain anonymous because it's a bit kind of freaky to talk about all this stuff, and the quote is, in trading, just as in archery, whenever there is effort or force or straining or struggling or trying, it's wrong. You're out of sync. You're out of harmony with the market. The perfect trade is one that requires no effort. And so this whole philosophy of no effort is counterintuitive. It's against the whole culture. But I tell you, if you follow the culture, you will get virtually nowhere. You will get the medium. You will get mediocre results. So you must be constantly asking yourself, what is everybody else doing? and no matter how right it appears, I must do something else. So all I want to say in concluding is stay light, have fun, and the very least we can do for ourselves is to enjoy it.